Good morning. Happy Saturday. I'm so excited that we're in December. It's the end of the year. And I want to make sure that you're able to hear me. So if you come to the live meeting, please let me know you can hear me. I'm going to wait a few minutes just because I want to check to see if you can hear me. Just checking the tech and then we'll get started. Okay. I want to make sure that's just because I want to check to see if you can hear me. Okay, so sounds like the tech is working. And we'll get started. 1 second. I just have this other phone just in case so I can read the comments. Okay, so hello everybody. My name is excuse me. I'm having a problem with my voice this morning. My name is Shar Halliburton. I am the CEO and founder of Quishar Detroit Publishing. I'm an author, speaker, and a certified life and business coach. I'm excited to be here. And I'm also a best-selling author. So I'm excited to be here because this is the end of the year. So what I wanted to do is create a checklist. And good morning to everybody that's joining. And before I get started, shout out to Sylvia. Thanks so much for the opportunity, Sylvia. Even though this time has been so busy, my 9 to 5, I'm an insurance agent. And those that know about health insurance, is a crazy, crazy time right now. So I have been so ingrained in health insurance. So I have to put my creative mind set to work today so that we can go over this information for self-published authors. Okay, so the title of today's presentation is Wrap, Reflect, and Rise, your 2025 year-end success checklist. Okay, 1 second. I'm looking at my computer here. I don't know what just happened. Okay, so let's get started. Now, the first thing, as the year wraps, you take time to pause and you want to, just look over the year and think about everything that you've accomplished in 2025. Was this year a successful year for you? Or were there times during the year in which you felt like, you know what, I got to do better next year? So if that's you, and that's me too, I know I need to do better next year. If that's you, I'm going to give you a checklist so that you can be prepared for 2026. So the first thing is to think about your book. I'm looking at my computer here, your book sales and marketing review. Review your total book sales. Now, you may have book sales that you are selling on Amazon. You may have book sales on Income Spark. You may have book sales on your personal website. However, you check off when you have sales. Make sure you run those reports so you can see where you are and how many books you sold for 2025. So the first thing is to tally your book sales from all sources. Okay, so you want to get a chart. Today, you might want to take notes because this is a lot of information. But what you want to do is tally your book sales for 2025. Think about all the sources: Amazon, Income Spark, Lulu. However you have your books out there for sale, you have some kind of system in which you're tracking your sales. Run those reports so you can see, how well you did for 2025. The next thing is to identify your top performing platforms. Was it Amazon? Was it direct sales? What was your top performing platform? So find out what that is, and you want to highlight that. Okay, the next thing is to celebrate your most successful marketing efforts. How have you marketed your book for 2025? Your book or books? How have you marketed your books? Has it been social media? Has it been speaking? How have you marketed your books? Okay, so however you marketed your books, look and find and highlight the way that you were most successful in your book sales. Okay, the next thing is to set a goal for 2026. So you see what your sales is for 2025. What do you want to do for 2026? Do you want to double that? Do you want to triple that? Do you want to focus on bulk book orders with different organizations? Depending on what your topic of your book is, you can kind of gear your topic, your target audience, and look out and start researching on Google. What associations need what you sell? Now, I focus mostly, well, not mostly, I focus on nonfiction books, but some of the information that I provide, you can use this for book sales in different genres as well. So I just want to make sure that you're tracking your sales. Okay. Again, whatever way you've been selling your books, if it's Amazon directly, but the thing about it is you want to make sure that you have control over your leads and you're able to, like if somebody buys your book on Amazon, the only way that you'll know that they purchased the book on Amazon is if you have like an opt-in in your book, which makes people go to your opt-in and sign up for your mailing list. If you don't have an opt-in, well, then how would you know who is purchasing your books? How would you know? How would you zoom in on your target audience? Because maybe you have a different offering that you can offer to your target audience. So the first thing is to track your book sales, find out what was most successful for 2025. You want to also think about your marketing efforts. Which marketing efforts worked for you? Was it social media? Was it paid ads? Was it speaking? Was it podcasts? What was most successful for you in 2025? The next thing is set goals for 2026. I want you to outline 2 strategies to increase your reach in 2026. So maybe do one ad, maybe do a Facebook ad, maybe focus on book clubs or bundles or bulk book orders, like I said, with associations. So whatever it is that you want to focus on for 2025, make sure that you put that in writing, because that's the biggest thing when it comes to accomplishing your goals. Writing your goals down and seeing it in front of you would be the thing that's going to skyrocket your success. Okay. So again, the first thing is to review your book sales and your marketing for 2025. The next thing is speaking engagements. How many speaking engagements have you had for 2025? Now, speaking engagements are a very, very, very important way for you to monetize your book. Not only your sales, but if you go and speak, maybe your speaking engagement doesn't have to be to 1,000 people. It could be to a group. It could be to a book club. It could be to like associations, but a podcast interview. Those are speaking engagements. How many speaking engagements have you had for 2025? Okay. So list down all the speaking engagements that you have for 2025. Okay. And out of those speaking engagements, note which audiences were most engaged. Was it your podcast listeners? Was it when you had to go to a virtual, when you did like an online virtual speaking engagement? Was it online or was it in person? What was your most engaged speaking audience when you had speaking engagement for 2025? So make a note of that. The next thing is to update your speaker's reel. So as a speaker, and again, speaking is one of the most important things that you need to do as an author, whether you're a nonfiction author or if you're a fiction author. You have readers that you want to create programs or, or live events for them so that you can serve their needs. Okay. So if you have your target audience, you know who that specific target audience is. You want to, contact maybe like I said, book clubs. If you are a fiction author, if you're a nonfiction author, you want to contact associations that align with the goals that you provide in your book. Like if you're a personal development coach, like for me, I'm more of when it comes to my writing, I write nonfiction and it's a personal development coach kind of things to level up. Just like I'm wearing this shirt, don't procrastinate, activate. That's my main thing. Procrastination will keep you stuck. So I talk about procrastination. I wrote a book about procrastination. So don't procrastinate, activate. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to look and see if there are any comments thus far. Take a lot of notes. Okay. A lot of people forget their podcast. Yes, Sylvia. A lot of people forget their podcast is those podcasts. A lot of people listen to podcasts now. That is so important. Your audiences are hidden if you're not booking interviews for podcasts. Book podcast interviews that align with the goals of your book. So even if, like I said, you're writing fiction books and you're talking about, for instance, I'm just throwing this out, abuse or whatever, right? You can look online for podcasts that discuss the, ideas concerning abuse and things to, help those that have been abused. So you can search podcasts that reflect on that, podcasts that specialize in whatever your content matter is. Okay. The next thing is repurpose your interviews. The interviews that you've had, if you had magazine interviews, if you had podcast interviews, online, just like the online talk show interviews, repurpose that content. You can create clips. Now there is a app called Opus, OPUS Clips. And Opus Clips will chop up your interviews and they will give you captions that'll make it go viral. So look online because sometimes they have free trials. Opus Clip. They are very important as far as helping you to promote your content. So look up Opus Clip. And you will be amazed at the difference that you will see in the engagement, because what they do is they, do research and know which words are viral and cause people to come and, which engage, audiences or whatever. So they've done the research. So look at Opus Clip and it'll help cut your interviews or your reels into like 1 minute, 2 minute clips that you can use to promote your book and your business as an entrepreneur. Follow up with hosts and journalists to nurture future collaborations. So if you had a successful podcast interview, follow up with those hosts because, every year, every month, every day, they're trying to come up with new content. You might have a different spin on the content that you shared previously. So keep, stay in touch with them. Send them a Christmas card. Send them a thank you note because they didn't have to choose you to be on their podcast. Okay. And create for 2026, create a media wish list for 2026. What are some of the things that you want to, what are some of the podcasts that you want to be on for 2026? Create a media wish list for 2026. And then what you can do is reach out to the podcast hosts. Let them know what your book is about. Let them know what your content is about. And then they can let you know if you're a good fit for their podcast. So create a media list for 2026. Okay. So again, we talked about podcast interviews and media features, how you can continue sharing your content. Once you create one piece of content or interview, you can always think of different ways to repurpose it. Okay. It's not just for that one time when you go live with that interview. You can repurpose that for a lifetime. Okay. As long as your content has a target audience, you can repurpose that for a lifetime in so many different ways. You can repurpose it on LinkedIn. You can repurpose it on Instagram, Facebook. And then this is another way you can use Chat GPT to help you repurpose content. So if you already created the content, you go to Chat GPT and say, I did an interview. It was about such and such. Give me some captions that will help me reach my target audience. Use Chat GPT to be creative. Don't just take word for word from Chat GPT, but use your content to ask Chat GPT, how can you monetize this content? Okay. So use that and Chat GPT will help you get some great suggestions. Also, they will help you get suggestions on your captions for YouTube as well. Okay. The next category I want to talk about is collaborations and coaching programs. Okay. So for 2025, reflect on the partnerships or collaborations that you've had for this year. Was there a certain business that you collaborated with and it helped you to increase your sales? for your company or for your sales for your book, reflect on what you've done for 2025. And those important collaborations, you want to, like I said, build a relationship with them, keep the relationship going. Okay. So because if you collaborate one time, you can also collaborate, continuously collaborate. Maybe you want to collaborate every March, do a program with them or do a live workshop or a virtual workshop with that partner. So keep those relationships going and growing. Evaluate which collaborations help to expand your reach for 2025. Okay, which one of those collaborations that you've completed in 2025, which one helped you to expand your visibility and your credibility? Think about those things and jot those things down, because that's going to be very important for your success in 2026. Also, review if you've been a part of coaching programs or training programs. Has it helped you? If those programs have helped you, then what you want to do is kind of focus on next year. What's the next step? If you're working with a coach or if you're in a training program and it's helped grow you as far as personal development, if it's helped you to make more sales, if it's helped you be more confident, however those programs have helped you, you want to stay in, if you want to, evaluate these programs. If you're joining and paying out money monthly, if these programs are not helping you, you're going to want to end those programs and search for a program that's going to help you to grow, because you can't do it alone. Okay. You can't expect to do everything on your own. That's why they're coaches. So if you have a coach and you're working with this coach, but you haven't increased your income, you haven't increased your visibility, you haven't increased your confidence, maybe reevaluate, and maybe it's time for a new coach. Okay. The next thing is to plan, update one signature offer for 2026. Okay. Maybe it's a new course. Maybe it's a mastermind. Maybe it's a retreat, depending on what you're doing. So let me give you an example. Say, for instance, you wrote a book about procrastination, right? And so how was that program? If you had a signature offer where you were coaching maybe a cohort of 10 people, look at that program and look and see how that program was for 2025. Were your participants successful? If they were not, ask them for feedback. Okay. Constantly asking for feedback from your participants will help you grow your business. Okay. Because you're constantly learning, and they're learning. So always ask them questions, do surveys so you can up level your programs for the next year. Okay. The next thing is new books written and in progress. Okay. So celebrate all your writing milestones. And in just a second, I'll check to see if there are any questions or anything. But if you've written new books for 2025, celebrate all your writing milestones. If you wrote your first draft, celebrate it. If you wrote your first page, celebrate it. Celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. Celebration is a part of growth. If you don't celebrate yourself, then why would someone else celebrate you? So whatever you've accomplished, a goal that you wrote down and said you're going to accomplish for 2025, if you've accomplished it, celebrate your success. Okay, the next thing is to identify which projects that you're going to carry forward into the new year. Are there some projects that you were stumped on and you felt stuck, you didn't finish it, but you know that was a project you were supposed to finish in 2025? Pick it up in 2026, okay? Sometimes there's a time and season for different things. If it didn't work out in 2025, maybe it'll work out in 2026 because you had that idea. If you vetted the idea, when I say vet the idea, have you asked your target audience, whoever you have this product for, have you asked them questions? You see if it's a good fit for them. One good way to find out if it's a good fit is to pre-sale. Have a pre-sale campaign. If you have a new book coming out, start going live, talking about the book, the content, and then create a pre-sale link so you can have your readers purchase the book in advance, because if they purchase the book in advance, you know that they are interested. And also, if you do a pre-order, make sure that you are very communicative about when that book will be finished. Okay. So don't take money and then don't publish the book, because I've seen that happen. That's happened before. I've purchased books from people who say they have a book coming out and then the book didn't come out. And then when the book comes out, They'll send you, like I had this one person, the book came out, they sent me a PDF. I purchased a paperback book. So you have to be you have to have integrity. If you say you're going to offer something, you say you're going to deliver something, make sure that you deliver that item, especially when somebody has spent their money in advance. So be a person of integrity. Okay. The next thing is if you have a new book project, brainstorm 2 or 3 book content ideas for 2026 that align with your brand. So brainstorm these ideas, and what you can do is you can get an expandable file. And if you have an idea that comes up, get paper, jot down your ideas, do a brain dump. Take everything that's in your head, put it on paper, and do a brain dump, right? And keep those ideas filed so that when you are ready to do that project, you have the ideas already set up. Because sometimes you'll wake up, you'll have a flood of ideas. When you wake up, what you want to do is download those ideas into a tangible form on a piece of paper. You may want to put it on your computer, but whatever it is, make sure that you keep those ideas and put it in an expandable file so that you can pick it up later on. Okay. All right. So let me just see if I have any comments, because it's not coming up on this phone, but see if anybody has any questions. Okay. Don't see any questions right now. Okay. So the next thing is to after you have your publishing ideas, the projects that are in progress, refresh your timeline. Okay. So if you said you're going to have it done October 2025, it's not done, right? So think about 2026. Plan these things out in advance. When will you have your book completed? Will the first draft be ready January 31st? Will your editing be done February 28th? When will your book be done? Set out a timeline so that you can be successful in executing your goals. Okay. Don't procrastinate. Activate your goals and your dreams so that you can accomplish them. And because this is the thing, you're accomplishing your goals because you want to help somebody, right? You want to help someone to improve their lives and take them to the next level. Okay. The next thing is to think about your vision for 2026. And I'm looking at my computer here. Just think about 2025, right? Reflect on your wins. What was successful for you in 2025? Write down, put in the chat one of your most successful wins for 2025. I want to help you celebrate. Okay. What was your most successful wins for 2025? Okay. 2025 was a rough year for me. I'll tell you, just last month I had my computer hacked, and that's a whole nother thing, but just being able to push yourself forward, even when you feel stuck, even when you feel like giving up, just showing up. Okay. Showing up was a win for me today. Showing up was a win for me. I've had the most busy, stressful month, but I promised Sylvia that I would show up. So I showed up. Last month, I was supposed to, be the speaker for November's Saturday, but one of my good friends from college, her mother passed away, so I had to attend the services. So I wasn't able to attend last month, but she contacted me yesterday. I was like, Shari, can you still do it? And I was like, yes, I can. Yes, I can. So I'm happy that I just showed up, even though I'm tired, even though I'm stressed. I showed up because I want to be able to be a, person of my word, right? Even though because life is going to life, right? We're going to always have things going on in our life, but we want to be able to, be the person of our word and show up and just do your best, right? That's all you can do is do your best. Okay. So again, reflect on your wins for 2025. Where did you grow the most as an entrepreneur? Where did you grow the most? Was it showing up on live video? Was it growing your YouTube channel? Was it completing blog post for your website? What was your most successful win as an entrepreneur? Was it multiple book sales, bulk book sales? Was it paid speaking engagements? What was your big win? And how did you grow the most as an entrepreneur in 2025? Okay, so the next thing is to choose one venture to explore for 2026. Do you want to do a book tour? Now, you don't have to actually do a book tour in person. You can do a virtual book tour. And how you can set up a virtual book tour is to set up podcast interviews with podcast hosts. So that could be a virtual tour, okay, for you. So, like I said, research your genre and find top podcasts in your genre, and contact the host and let them know what your book is about. Let them know what your subject matter is, and see if you can be a guest on their podcast. So what is your new venture for 2026? So book tour, online academy. Do you want to create an online academy based upon your content in your books? Do you want to host a live in-person event? Do you want to host your own podcast? What is your big venture for 2026 as an author? You can create a podcast based upon your book. I created 2 podcasts. One podcast, the Skyrocket Your Success podcast, based upon my book series, Skyrocket Your Success. I have 2 books in the series, Skyrocket Your Success, 10 Keys to Refocus, Reposition, and Reclaim Your Purpose. This book is for those corporate women that feel stuck, right? You know that you're called to do more. And this book, it gets you out of the feeling of stuck, okay? And it'll help you to get rid of those self-sabotaging behaviors like procrastination, self-doubt, living for someone else's approval. So this is the first book. And the second book in the series is Skyrocket Your Success 2.0, the corporate woman's roadmap to navigate from employee to entrepreneur. So now that you've taken care of the self-sabotage, the next step is to take your genius, your content, your intellectual property, and become a business owner. This book will break it down for you and help you go from, there are 4 different stages in becoming an entrepreneur. I created a framework. There are 4 phases. The first one is to assess and discover your zone of genius. Again, assess and discover your zone of genius. That's phase 1. Phase 2 is to remove obstacles and develop a champion mindset. Your champion mindset is so essential when you're a business person, because there are so many negative things that come to your mind day to day, and say, you may wake up like, I'm giving up today. But then later on in the day, you get inspiration and you're like, no, I'm moving forward. I'm moving forward. So the third stage is to build your business and skyrocket your success. Build your business, legally build your business, and then to increase your growth in your business. Phase 4, activate, maintain, and sustain your enterprise. Keep your enterprise going and set up a sustainability plan so that it can go into future generations. So that is the ARBA framework that I created in my Skyrocket Your Success series. So I went off on a tangent there, but I created a podcast called Skyrocket Your Success, and I interviewed those that are, in corporate America, who have created a business, and they're going to skyrocket their success. So what I'm saying is, you can create podcasts based upon your book content. Okay. The next thing is to close the year with gratitude. Okay. Write a note to yourself for 2025 for all that you have accomplished, right? And you can see where you are in 2025, and next year, 2026, you can look at that note and see how you've grown. Okay. So write a letter of gratitude for yourself. Celebrate yourself. I'm so big on celebrating yourself, because if you don't celebrate yourself, no one else will celebrate you, right? So create a note of gratitude. Talk about the things that you've overcome in 2025, right? And the things that you need to work on for 2026, right? Be honest with yourself. You don't have to share this with anybody. This is your personal note, so that next year, this time, you can look at where you are, and you can see in 2026 where you're going to be, because you're going to have growth in there, because you're going to see where you are right now. And that space between where you are and where you want to be is growth, is development. You have to develop yourself. As you become an author, there are going to be so many challenges, right? You have to stay on track, because what was the purpose when you first became an author? What was your goal? You have to make sure that you're evaluating why you became an author, and continue to grow as a person, as an author, as a business person, because you're an authorpreneur. Okay. All right. So let me take a look here. So the final thought on this, and then we'll review what we've gone over. You've built more than books. You've built a brand and your legacy. You want to maintain your legacy by showing up as a business professional that you are. Okay. So what you want to do is think of 3 top goals that you want to accomplish for 2026. Put them in writing. Right. And on that letter of gratitude, write your 3 top goals. And then this time next year, next December 2026, look at that list and see what you've accomplished If you can't accomplish this goal on your own, look for mentors. Look for people that are accomplishing the goals that you want to accomplish. Mentorship and getting a good coach is so important. It's so important because, like I said, you can't depend on yourself for all the knowledge, right? And this Motown writers group, Second Saturday, this is personal development, right? We're developing as authors, as business persons, because we're learning how to grow our business based upon the experiences of other authors and business professionals that are shared in this group. So use this information that you get and help yourself grow, go to the next level. If you need help, tap into those that are doing the things that you want to do. If you have an author that you admire that's accomplishing some goals that you want to accomplish, talk to them and see if they offer some kind of coaching or mentorship so they can help you grow to the next level. Be willing to invest in yourself. Investment is so important. Investment is so important. Be willing to invest so that you can grow and be the author and business person that you're called to be. Okay, so I want to go over these things again. So again, this title is Wrap, Reflect, and Rise, your 2025 author success checklist. So the first thing is to focus on your book sales and your marketing review. How successful were you? How many books have you sold? How many books have you sold per month, per quarter? What's your total book sales for 2025? What platforms? Was it Amazon that was a big seller for you? Was it directly on your website? Was it Ingram Spark? What was the big sales channel for you for 2025? Set a sales goal for 2026. What is your sales goal for 2026? Do you want to double what you sold in 2025? Do you want to quadruple what you sold? Do you want to focus on bulk book orders? Whatever your goal is, put it in writing. I'm telling you, put it in writing and look at it. Look at it every day and do something. Do one thing every day that's going to push your goal to the next level. Okay. Second thing, after I go over these, I'm going to look at the comments. Second thing, speaking engagements. Have you looked for speaking engagements that focus on the content that you have in your book? Have you? If not, look for speaking engagements. Like I said, podcast interviews. There are so many different podcasts that are on social media. You can go to Spotify and look and search for podcasts in your genre. Reach out to the hosts and see if they're looking for it, because they're always looking for new speakers, because they want to, make their podcast grow as well. Okay, so make sure that you're tapping into those top podcasts. Like I said, on Spotify, Google it, look on YouTube, look on Facebook, social media, look for podcasts in your genre. Another thing is think about the speaking engagements that you've had. If you've had some speaking engagements, podcasts, interviews, if you've been featured in magazines, what audiences were most engaged? Think about the audiences that were most engaged. And that content is the content people love. You want to do more of that in 2026. Collaborations. Have you collaborated with someone that worked out well? Have you collaborated with someone and it didn't work out well? Whatever it is, if you need to improve it or if you need to remove it, improve or remove for 2026. New books. Do you have new books in the works? Do you have books that you started in 2025, you didn't finish it? Create a new publishing timeline and finish that book in 2026. Visions. Reflect on your wins. Again, write a letter to yourself and 2025 version of yourself. And what do you need to accomplish to be successful in 2026? Big question. What do you need to do to increase your sales, increase your visibility in 2026? Okay, so I'm going to look and see if there are any comments. Okay, so Vanessa McCoy procrastinated a lot this year, so I'm selling several of my 2026 wall calendar sets. Was success for me? Okay, excellent, excellent. Hi, hi, Elder K. I just want to shout out Sylvia. I don't know if Sylvia's still here because I know you had to get on the road. Okay, so does anybody have any questions? If you're looking to publish a nonfiction book in 2026, feel free to reach out to me. I am more than happy to assist you, and we can do a discovery call to see if we're a good fit for 2026. There were some other things that I want to talk about. So like I was saying, I have a podcast. I have a podcast. I started the podcast a couple of years ago. I'm revamping it, and it's called Authors Are Legacy Builders. This is my little information card, Authors Are Legacy Builders. I will be revamping this and relaunching in 2026. So look out for that, Authors Are Legacy Builders. This is a podcast for authors that are looking to go to the next level. I'll be sharing information to increase your visibility and credibility in 2026 and beyond. So that is one of the announcements of one of the big projects that I'm working on for 2026. I don't know. I don't see any questions or anything. And let's see what time it is. It is 10:36. Okay. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. So again, what I want to do is be a resource to you. If you have questions, please, reach out to me. You can send me a direct message. I'll be more than happy to assist you. I'm looking at some information here. It says set 3 intentional goals. Okay. The first goal that you need to set is a set for revenue. How are you going to increase your revenue for 2026? Think of 3 to 5 ways that you're going to increase your revenue for 2026. Write it down. Okay. The second R is reach. How will you reach your target audience besides just saying, go get my book on Amazon? That doesn't work. What are you going to do to pull in your readers for 2026? Think about it. What can you do to bring in your readers? Are there some groups that you're a member of that allow you to talk about your book? Do you have, a program based upon the content in your book? How are you going to reach your readers in 2026? Recognition. Are you looking for awards? Because you're an author, there are so many book awards that are available there. Not there, but are available so that you can increase your credibility as an author. For my first book in the Skyrocket Your Success series, I have a little blurb on here. I was the winner in the inspirational category for the APS Book Awards. So I'm an award-winning author. You win an award, you are forever an award-winning author. So I put this little blurb on my book when I got the book redone. This was my first book cover here. Skyrocket Your Success, 10 Keys to Refocus, Reposition, Reclaim Your Purpose. And when I created this book cover, I was like, I wanted to vamp it because I wanted to make it more appealing to my target audience. So I revamped it. And so the books look similar. This is the first book in the series, and this is the second book in your series. When you're a self-published author, you can change your book cover if you want to. It's up to you because you're a self-published author. You don't have to ask anybody for permission. This is your intellectual property. You can change it as you see fit. Okay? And that's one good thing about writing and publishing your own book. You have control. If you don't publish your own book, but if you have someone to help you publish your book, make sure that you're the owner of the ISBN, which is the International Standard Book Number. Make sure that you're the owner. And when you're the owner of the book, it's up to you. You can change your book. You can add things to your book. It's up to you. I wanted to bring something up to you. I don't know, as an author, if you ever have people contact you, and they say like, oh, I read your book. I love your book. I want you to become, we want to use your book for our book club this month. So I had several people contact me in my email saying they want me to be the book of the month or whatever. They'll say all these compliments and everything and say they want your book to be book of the month. But then afterwards, you go back and forth and they say there's a fee. Like, no. If you contacted me and said my book is the book of the month, and then once you get my attention, you want to say there's a fee. No, you contacted me. So I need to be charging you to come to your book club based upon, someone just calling at the last minute or whatever. And they say, okay, and they want to charge you a fee. No, but just going through that situation, because these are random people I don't even know, right? Contacting me. And it prompted me like, I need to create a book discussion guide just in case I do want to take advantage of this. So everyone create a book discussion guide when you write your book, right? So the best time to create the book discussion guide is when you first write your book, because you know your book like the back of your hand. If you're an author and you wrote a book 5 years ago, you have to sometimes refresh yourself, because you kind of forget. If you wrote multiple books, you might forget some of the content, even though you wrote it, but it's been, a long time ago. Just like when you see authors singing, they forget their words to their song. A lot of times, if they're not singing it all the time, they may forget. So just like an author, go back and revisit your book, right? Go to your book, think about each chapter, and out of each chapter, think of 3 top main ideas, 3 ideas that you want people to kind of go in depth regarding. Okay. So everybody, I want to challenge you to create a book discussion guide for your book, whether it's fiction, nonfiction, whatever genre. Create a book discussion guide and go to every chapter and think of 2 to 3 questions. I would say 3 is a good number. Think of 3 questions that you can ask that'll get the reader deeply, I can't talk today, deeply engaged in your content. Okay, so think of 3 things that you can ask the reader at the end of each chapter. And what you can do is you can create an easy book discussion guide. So after that happened, I created a book discussion guide. And then what you can do in your book discussion guide is that you can create an icebreaker. Like, for instance, a question is, what made you choose this book? Or what drew you to it? So you're asking the reader what drew you to my book. So when they tell you what drew them to your book, this will give you some content for marketing. Because if this is what drew them to the book, and look at the other answers that they provide to you, because it may be a common theme there. Okay. So that's like an example. And big ideas. What is the main theme or message of the book in your own words? Okay, so you'll get the readers to tell you what your book is about in their own words. You should have your own, content, statements about what your book is about, but you want to make sure that it's relaying the same way to your readers. Another thing is personal reflections. You can add in your book discussion guide. Did the author share a story or example that reminded you of you in your own career journey or you in your own life? What did you find? What did you find yourself nodding along with? What did you find yourself agreeing with when you read the book? Right? So these are just some kind of questions to engage, practical takeaways. What were the key lessons that you've learned from reading this book? And how will you apply these lessons to your life? And it's your book about leadership and growth. You can pull out some leadership and growth content. How does this book encourage you to think differently about your role as a professional? How does, what are new opportunities or possibilities that you see after reading the book? So it's up to you however you create your book discussion guide. But when you create a book discussion guide, you can create a package for book clubs, and you can have your book discussion guide. You can have the facilitator guide. You as if you want to come in and be the facilitator, and you can create a package, include your books. So maybe if there are 50 members to this book club, right? You can do a bulk book order, and you can have everyone will have their own book discussion guide, and you'll have a facilitator guide as the leader. And that's a way that you can make money too, because that's a bulk book sale, and it's a speaking opportunity, and you'll have a facilitator guide, so you can guide them in the book discussion. So it's just, some way to kind of learn from things that happen. Because I got someone that came to my email, and he was, giving me compliments about the book. And then he was like, well, we want you to be our, book choice for the month. And I'm like, okay, sounds good. He's like, well, you can even pop in. And then all of a sudden, after we had this engagement, he said, oh, there's a charge. And I'm like, first of all, you should say that up front, right? But anyway, it gave me an idea, like, you know what, create a book discussion guide, so that if you want to, like if I want to on my own, I can market book clubs, right? I already have my book discussion guide. I have my facilitator guide as the leader of the discussion. And then you can sell books to all the members of the book club. Okay. Let me just see if there are any questions or comments. And I am reworking mine to make it and me more effective. Still want to have you back on. I'm sorry. I must have misread that. Let's see. What I'm going to do is, after I get off live, I'm going to go in and read all the comments. So on this, I did the same thing with my book. Okay. Wayne, did the same thing with your book Catalyst, but I never found a cover that really hit. Okay. I have one now, but I asked a lot of people with their advice, including Sylvia, and saying, okay, got you. Yeah. So you can change your book cover, and you want to find something that, a good way to get an idea of your book cover. If your book cover wasn't the best, initially, go to Amazon, check the bestseller books and see how those books look, right? Look at the themes on those books. Use that as a guide. Don't copy, but use it as a guide, and it'll give you some inspiration. So look at the top best-selling books in your genre, and that'll help you with your book cover. Okay. Vanessa, my 3 books were published 3 years ago, but you've given me an idea of what I can do with those books. Okay, great. That's great. I hope that anything that I say, during these events with Motown writers will help you kind of, get different ideas to kind of, remix some things that you're doing so that you can, think of a new idea or some other way to monetize your book content. Okay, but yeah, I wanted to bring that up, the book discussion guide, so that if you create, and it doesn't matter what genre, again, if you're a fiction author, nonfiction author, you can still create a book discussion guide, and you can package it and you can promote it to book clubs or associations as well. Business associations that, that align with the content that you offer in your book. Okay, I'm trying to think, was there anything else that I can, just trying to think. I had some notes for some other things. I think that was basically it. So I hope this information was helpful to you. And I want you all, if you can, put in the comments one goal that you have for 2026. Okay. So that I can help celebrate you and accomplishing your goal. And also, if you are a first-time author, if you want to be a first-time author in 2026 and you're writing a nonfiction book, I will put the link in the comments so that you can set up a discovery call with me if you want to be an author in 2026. Okay. My goal in January is to do a 30-day live challenge, and we'll walk 30 days from the concept to writing your first draft by the end of 30 days. So if you are interested in participating in a 30-day live challenge, please send me a direct message. Just click on my name, send me a direct message and let me know. And then what I'll do is I'll send you the information once I have everything together, because we're going to do a 30-day live challenge. I don't know if I'm going to do it on Instagram or YouTube. Another thing that I ask of you, I'll put it in the link. If you can please follow me on YouTube. I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel. I only have 97 subscribers. Can you please join? I at least want 100. I've been trying to grow my YouTube channel for a little while now, but if you can follow me on YouTube, I'm going to put the link in the comments. If you can follow me, I would greatly appreciate it. I think I'm going to go live on YouTube for the 30-day live challenge in January. Okay. So if you can follow me, I'll put the link in afterwards. But yeah, I would appreciate if you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, so that you can help me grow for 2026 so I can create more content. If you have ideas regarding content for 2026, because I don't know if I'm going to come on again in May. I usually come on in May, but if I come in May, if you have ideas of something that you may want me to cover when I come back, please let me know as well. Let me see if there are any other questions. And again, if I don't answer your question, I definitely will go back and respond to your messages. And thank you so much for having patience with me today. I don't feel 100%. Like I said, I'm feeling kind of out of it. This open enrollment has been challenging. I've been an insurance agent for 25 years, and the last 13 years I've been with HAP. And I sell individual family plans for under 65. And I sell Medicare too. This year has been so busy. And it's been different and challenging. Most challenging that open enrollment that I've had in a long time. So, I feel kind of out of it. And I'm working tomorrow too, because Monday is the deadline for a January 1st effective date for individuals and families under 65. So I'm going to be working all day tomorrow, and then Monday all day too. So, but I wanted to come in because I said that I would come in, and thank you so much, Sylvia. Sylvia is a great mentor to me, because whenever I try to hide and back up and be in the background, she said, no, she pushes me to the front. She said, no, Shar, you've got to do this. So I appreciate you, Sylvia, for pushing me. Even when I feel like, it's just not a good time for me. She has a way of talking you into things, and you're like, okay, I'll do it. But I appreciate you, Sylvia, for your mentorship and just for your support. And I really love the fact that you have this Motown Writers Group, because we're here to help each other grow. And so we're a family. We're Motown writers, and, whatever we can do to help each other, that's awesome. So I'm going to wrap it up. And like I said, I'll respond to all your comments after the live. But thank you so much for showing up today. And I hope you have a wonderful Christmas and a happy New Year. Bye-bye. I'm trying to end this, and it's not giving me the option to end it. Okay, it says finish. Okay.